Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Radio Aviation Excellence, the Wright Flyers Sky Bridge. This is your captain, Randy Wright speaking, and I want to thank you for tuning in to this brief message. Well, ladies and gentlemen, normally when we hear of Hobby Lobby in mainstream culture and society, it's in regards to the way that they have a religious faith. Recall that at the height of the Barack Hussein Obama regime, particularly during his second term, the Hobby Lobby stores were targeted in a court case because they did not want to go along with the forced requirement to provide covered health coverage and payment for abortifacient types of birth control pills. Abortifacient are, of course, pills that are designed to abort the fetus in the early stages of pregnancy. Of course, this was a gross governmental overreach and something that should outrage decent, hard-working, red-blooded American citizens from coast to coast and border to border. But now, in this modern era of being perpetually offended, we see that Hobby Lobby has been targeted on the annals of social media, this time not for some policy they have, but rather a certain product that they are selling within the shelves of their store. Namely, they are being targeted for selling a potted cotton plant. The race baiters within the heart of the land of the free and the home of the brave have already gone to the annals of Twitter and various other sources of social media in order to lambaste Hobby Lobby for selling this decadent symbol of racism. Now, all of a sudden, within modern American culture and society, we see that the humble cotton plant, because it was associated with the Confederate States of America as their primary cash crop, is now a total symbol of racism and slavery. Ladies and gentlemen, this speaks to the raw histrionics and emotionalism that has dominated the hearts, souls, and minds of huge swaths of the American population in response to all of this. They are attempting to essentially strip and deprive us of everything, to make everything hyper-politicized. In other words, they are essentially assigning villainous attributes to a plant. Now, all of a sudden, in the land of the free and the home of the brave, a cotton plant is a symbol of a political movement. Or that is certainly what these morons, who are of the same strain and caliber as the Black Lives Matter organization, which, in point of fact, should be viewed as nothing more than a domestic terrorist organization, that's what they're doing. They are attempting to politicize everything. They are attempting to utilize the tried and true, albeit threadbare, tactic and strategy of divide and conquer against the American people. And for what? What purpose do they hope to truly gain by this? Well, the answer to this rather rhetorical question should be both open and obvious when we examine the totality of the circumstances with a modicum of objectivity. What they are attempting to do is to tear us apart, to pit American citizen against American citizen in the hopes that we fight one another to a standstill, that we bleed this nation dry. You see, this has been the end goal and modus operandi of the frothing of the mouth Fabian socialist leftists for well over a century and a half now, folks, and they are not about to relent from that because, to their mind, they see a light at the end of the tunnel and that this means that their victory is within grasp. Therefore, cherished listening passengers and audience members, what we must do as a nation and people is be ready, willing, and able to come together, standing shoulder to shoulder in solidarity and unity, and say enough is enough. We need to put our collective foot down and let these charlatans know that we will not tolerate their attempts to divide and conquer the good and decent people of the land of the free and the home of the brave. We, in our capacity as United States citizens, are the only ones endowed by God Almighty above with the proper authority, power, and wherewithal to bring this nation back from the brink of ruin and place it squarely back onto the path of prosperity. Yes, I fully realize that this is far easier said than done, but done it must be. And if there is any people on the face of God's green earth who are truly capable of accomplishing this, it is the American people. It is a traditional part of who we are, both as a nation and people. It goes to the very identity that has been with us since the inception of this nation some 237 plus years ago. Therefore, now more than ever, we have to stop giving credence and credibility to these radical fringe groups, and make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, these people are truly frothing at the mouth, Fabian socialist leftist radicals of the worst sort. And get back to a modicum of sanity and reality within the heart of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Because if we fail to do so, they will feel as though this is the green light for them to continue their attempts to tear this nation apart with radical divisiveness and divisive tactics. We cannot afford that. We can ill afford to allow that to come into fruition. Now is not the time for the American people to be divided. And that's one of the beautiful things that we saw in the immediate wake and aftermath of both Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, those cataclysmic as well as catastrophic natural disasters of biblical proportions. We saw the best of America on display in response to those, and that is certainly what the rank and file of the graduates of Pavlov's School of Journalism for the salivating mainstream media have been attempting to ignore. They instantly and continuously and incessantly turn to the messages of division. Why is this? It's because they have a propagandist narrative and agenda which they are hoping to achieve sooner rather than later. You see, the end goal of these dark and twisted and, dare I say, nefarious people is to weaken all of us. It is to place the United States in the vice-like grip of a socialist mentality that has no place in an open, honest, but above all free society like that of these United States of America. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely imperative now more than ever that we foster that fluent and working knowledge and understanding of our shared United States Constitution, and thereby our fundamental and inalienable God-given rights. Because it's as my first officer, Jeremy Grapenton, and even our first Air Marshal, Mr. Nelson Ward, and, of course, yours truly, have oft-times reiterated on previous episodes of our state-of-the-art radio program that without our fundamental and inalienable God-given rights, we are truly left with nothing. That is something that we can ill afford to allow to come to fruition within the heart of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Therefore, now we will take the stance that is necessary to secure the blessings of liberty for we the people. These political charlatans, these divisive forces, these hucksters and con artists who wish to strip and deprive the good and decent people of these United States of America of their fundamental and inalienable rights must be stopped. And that is why we are dedicated to bringing this sort of thing to your attention, because the solution to this cornucopia and plethora of problems that we have been encountering for generation after successive generation now has been with us since the inception of our nation some 237 plus years ago. And that key is none other than our shared United States Constitution, which, pursuant to Article 6, Clause 2, what is known in the common American vernacular as the Supremacy Clause, is none other than our shared United States Constitution itself. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we have held the power, and we have always held the power. Therefore, it is time for us to remember and recall that we are the true ultimate wielders of popular sovereignty in this once thriving and flourishing representative republic of ours. It is our duty, obligation, but above all responsibility, and it is certainly one that was assigned to us by the clear and concise language contained within the four corners of the preamble to our shared United States Constitution, because it said that we must secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. In other words, for the up-and-coming generations, and indeed, yes, even those generations which have yet to be born. That is the task that we set ourselves to. That is the task that we cannot remove ourselves from. That is the task that we must always rededicate ourselves to. Because then and only then can we, both as a nation and people, come together standing shoulder to shoulder in solidarity and unity and bring this nation back squarely onto the path to prosperity.